Yo, yo, yo. What's up, family? What's up, family? Yeah, man. I was just sitting and thinking, and you know what came to my mind is that I've actually been scammed before, and I know a few people who've been scammed as well. I know, when we talk about scamming and scammers, it usually sounds so ridiculous that how can this person fall for this? You normally hear about these Nigerian guys who scam these American, Australian, New Zealand ladies, always hear about that. And sometimes you wonder, how did this happen? How was this person so gullible? And we brush it off like that. But scamming is very intricate. The guys who scam people are very good at it. And I mean, there's levels to this thing, obviously. Hush Puppy is one of the really good scammers, but we actually ended up getting caught because he was very flashy about it. And I don't want to get into corporate types of scamming because corporate is another form of scamming, a very, very old one, well protected one, because obviously there's a particular group of people there. Insurance is another form of scamming. But let's just talk about the lower level type of scamming and how these, guys really scam people. How do they scam us? So, I got scammed, Let's start with my story. I got scammed sometime this year, like a few months ago. I think it was in April. So I needed to do something. I needed to do something for business purposes. I needed to travel as well. So I was in a uh, I was in a corner, So I needed to. I had something that I could sell, like a machine, a very good machine, a computer machine, and so in order to avoid having to post and convince people to buy, I just went to Facebook Market because I've bought stuff there before. I've gotten stuff that were legit. So I went to Facebook Market and I listed my machine there and I put all the, specifications. I put everything that, you need in order for the buyer to be satisfied. I had maybe five, six, or seven people who actually reached out to me and they wanted to buy. So it was going for around plus minus 15,000 rand. But it was definitely worth maybe 19. Yeah. So a few people reached out. There was one who actually offered a low amount, and he told me that he had it cash like immediately. And I was like, let's wait, man. I had the patience. I could wait 3 or 4 more days. I knew I would find someone. And then I had two buyers who didn't complain about the price. Red flag number one. They didn't even try to bargain or anything like that. They just wanted to buy it. One was in Johannesburg, Kempton Park, and then one was in Cape Town. And I was in Cape Town at that time. So I started the one in Johannesburg. So it was when I looked at their Facebook profile, a middle-aged mother of children, obviously, because I could see the kids in her profile. So obviously, generally, you want to be more trustworthy towards someone like that because they're motherly. They would be obviously more agreeable, and less risky than maybe a single guy, in his 30s. That's just a general deduction, but obviously, there's always situations are just unique. But at that time, I sort of like was more, you know, aligned with her. So I spoke to this lady, and she wanted me to send this product, via courier services, and she gave me everything. But then she made one mistake. She put her name there, and this name was not a South African name at all. It was not even English or Germanic for that matter. It was a strange foreign language that I couldn't understand. And then I saw that, right? She quickly removed the message and then sent the same details again with a different with the name now on her profile, which is an English name or whatever. So that for me that was like a kind of a red flag, you see, because I mean, what kind of name was that? And she's a European, she's a woman of European descent. So I expected like a German name or a Dutch or English name at least, or even a South African name, like a native South African name. But no, that one was very strange. So I thought maybe she's not, maybe it's not even her. Maybe it's just a fake account. They're just they hacked the account, which I think it's the case, based on where she said she lived in Kempton Park. I don't think it was South African at all. I don't think it was a lady at all. I think it was probably a man trying to scam me. So that didn't go well, right? So I ended up looking back to the Cape Town guy now. And we spoke with this individual. We spoke even on WhatsApp. We had calls. Firstly, this dude was very well spoken, very, very articulate. You look at the pictures, well dressed, not overly dressed. You see those ones on Instagram, those forex ones, not those ones, not those binary options type. But this one was well dressed, man. I gave it a shot. We decided to meet. Didn't even complain about the price. They were willing to pay the whole thing in cash. So we decided to meet somewhere in the Cape Town CBD. Crazy thing, when I got there, this individual was not there. He sent a driver, but then he sent a payment notification before that. So at that time, it's crazy, man, how it happened. At that time, I was using multiple phones, right? And the phone I had didn't have my mobile banking SIM card, so I couldn't ascertain that he really sent the money via mobile banking. But what he did, he didn't know that, so I assume he sent both a message, mobile banking message, and a PDF document as a proof of payment. When I looked at the proof of payment, it was very quick, man, because I think he sent the proof of payment 10 minutes before the driver arrived. So it was very quick. I looked at the proof of payment, it didn't seem like there was something wrong with it, and he paid with a business account. So I was like, oh, wow. And he was busy telling me that he's buying the machine for his wife. He's not in Cape Town, he's in Constantia, but then the wife, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay. So the driver arrived. I went and met with the driver. I didn't even know the driver was coming. I thought it was this buyer. But then the driver arrived. And he told me to give. And then I had received the proof of payment. He told me to give the driver the machine, put it in the car, and then the machine was locked. Didn't give the password. But then when I looked online for how long it's gonna take to reflect on my account, they said for first-time clients, because we're using different banks, it's gonna take an hour. So I waited. Obviously, I gave this individual the password, but then the problem is that this guy said he was in Constantia, but then the driver came, picked the machine up, and then in 15 minutes time, the guy already called me asking for the password. So that shows that he was not in Constantia, was probably in town. And that's how I lost my machine, because after that, 1 hour later, the money had not reflected. I waited 4 hours, the money had not reflected, and the machine was gone. The password was gone. So I decided to go back home, and I told him, look, you scammed me, bro. And he denied it to this day. To this day, that dude says he paid me, and I had never received it. And I know it was a scam, I know, but he was so good at it, he didn't even deny. And the crazy thing, before he got the machine, he spoke with a nice English South African accent. And then after he got the machine, a West African accent came through. So I tried to scare the guy, yeah? I tried to scare him. I wanted to buy like black candles and a black cloth. I have a black cloth there. I was going to use black candles with needles and send that picture and tell him that I'm going to deal with him. But I decided, no, it's fine. He even called me after scamming me. He was like, no, man, what are you talking about? I didn't scam you. So that's how good these scammers are. Like, they are able to really sell themselves as these legitimate people. And these guys are not emotional at all, they're very stoic. Because when I told him you scammed me, he denied it. He called me to comfort me. And that's how good they are. And these are just, your low-level scammers. Imagine now people in corporate, people who go overseas, because this is what these guys, especially the Nigerian guys, they go overseas, they go to New Zealand, to Australia, and they scam people. And I've got 2 more stories, crazy ones. Now, one is my sister. She actually went to this supermarket. Then she wanted to get some cash back. Then she was waiting in the queue. and she was queuing there. She saw this guy picking up a stack of money um, from the on the floor. He picked it up and he looked at her. So they both saw the money. And he was like, "Look, no, we'll talk outside. Don't worry. We'll share. I don't want you to miss out. We'll share." So when they went outside, after they had sorted whatever they wanted to sort, after she had gotten the money she wanted, it's crazy. They went outside, and you know what happens? That they were busy discussing how they're gonna distribute this stack of money this guy picked up. A police guy came through, a policeman. I was like, "What are you guys doing? What is that?" And then this guy confessed that, "No, I picked up some money." So the policeman was like, "No, no, 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 take it back. You'll get a reward, right?" It happened so quickly. My sister is like, she believed it. She believed that they're gonna get a reward, both of them. So the policeman was like, "Okay, you know what? No, no." The guy who picked the money was like, "Give me your bag. Give me your purse. Give me your wallet. Let me hold it for you, whilst you go back and return the money with the policeman." And then they did that. When my sister returned, the guy was gone, and that's how she got scammed. But it was so legit. It looked so legitimate. The policeman came, and the police was in on it. And I don't think it was a policeman. That's the second story. Now the third story of scamming happened in Joburg to this lady that I knew. Went to the same school, went to the same university. Now this one is very popular in Johannesburg. So this girl coming back from campus, and she sees this guy driving. You know, guy is driving. He stops next to her, and he starts talking to her. You know, I think started by like asking for address and directions, but he ended up telling her like her secrets, telling her things that she struggles with, and she started believing him. And you know, the guy was like, "You know what? Even when you go through your periods, you experience this. Even when you go to pee, you usually experience this." And she was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And then he said a lot of other things. So I think she had established trust with him, right? Now what happened is that the guy told her to go to her room because they were outside the yard. So the guy told her, "Quickly go to your bathroom, pee for me, and tell me what you see there. Leave your bag here with your laptop, but just quickly do that." And she quickly ran in. Her mind is completely asleep about the fact that she left the laptop outside with this guy. So she went in, she went to pee, and then as she was finishing up, it only occurred to her that she left the laptop with these guys, and she doesn't even know them. And when she went out, the guys were gone, laptop gone. And you know, these things happen, man, in South Africa. These kinds of scams, they happen. And I think there might be some explanation to how some of these things are, because there's no way, man, you're not gonna be concerned about your laptop, leaving your laptop with a stranger. It's not just the laptop. People leave a lot of things. People leave their cars with strangers. And I think there's maybe some kind of hypnosis that happens during this. But these scammers, man, they know what they're doing. They're not chancers. They're definitely not, figuring this out. They know exactly what this is. And a lot of them have left their countries and came to South Africa. And they clearly came with a purpose. And I just thought I should share these stories, man, because it's very traumatic to go through this. I was very angry after I got scammed myself. I remember telling that guy that, "Dude, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you." And I made some decisions after that, some very important decisions about how I view certain groups of people. Because if you're gonna leave your country, come to South Africa, and your sole purpose of being here is to take advantage of the people, take advantage of the hospitality that you are afforded by these beautiful, hospitable South African natives. You take advantage of the goodness that we see in you, because we have goodness in us. If you're gonna do that, then we should treat you like an enemy, yeah? You should be treated like an enemy. Don't come and tell me, "No, you're my brother," but all you do is scam and human trafficking and selling drugs. You're not my brother. You're not different from the people who came here 500, 400 years ago, 300 years ago. You're not different from them. You do the same thing. You've colluded against the Aboriginal people of this land. These stories are funny when we tell them, but they're very painful to the people who've experienced them, because it's real life. You know, people have lost things that they've worked for. For what reason? Why should people go through such? So yeah, man, I went through the scamming thing, and I know family members have experienced it. I know friends have experienced it, and it can really anger you. You know, can get really angry because you usually we've worked hard for these things, but these people just come and try to finesse from us. You know, when I grew up, there used to be something called mob justice, the real mob justice. People who do that will be hunted down and dealt with decisively. But now, you know, with the ANC and the DA and the EFF and all the other parties, criminals are actually protected in this country. And because criminals are protected in this country, crime thrives. All politicians are criminals. At least all politicians whose voices matter. A lot of them are criminals, hardcore criminals and perverts. A lot of them are psychopaths who leech and suck people's blood and they harvest people's energies, you know, take advantage of the poor people, um, you know, with empty promises, and they use division tactics, whether they use skin color or they use classism or history. They'll use whatever they can, you know, pseudosciences, just like back in the day when there was that whole Negro, Mongoloid, Caucasoid rubbish. They use false science to enslave people, upstanding citizens. But then when it comes to criminals like these scammers, they get protected, you see. So these may be funny stories when you tell them, but it points to a much deeper problem in the country and in society as a whole, because these scammers are scamming people in New Zealand, they're scamming people in Australia, they're scamming people in America, they're scamming people everywhere, man, in Asia. It's crazy. Peace.